Welcome back to Cinema Corner. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Josh and
And
Alex.
today we are reviewing Predator Badlands. This was a highly anticipated movie amongst the group here. Uh, Probably my most anticipated non-comic book movie. So we went into this and we saw it together. This was one of our three movies that we saw in a shift of movies because it was an 8-hour day, and this was movie number two. Um, so, like I said, this is Predator Badlands, directed by Dan Trachtenberg once again. He directed Prey and Killer of Killers. So now he's back again with Badlands. It currently has an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 95 audience score. So this is very well liked from both critics and audiences alike. So, yeah, who wants to give their thoughts first?
I thought we were getting Alex thoughts
No,
there.
I mean, I was just kind of giving you guys
Whatever.
the info there on the movie.
Yeah, sure, I'll jump in. The movie was exactly, I think, what we dreamed it was going to be. Maybe even a little better for myself. I can't fully say for you two. I think it was intriguing when it first came out and announced that it was going to be basically kind of almost a protagonist Predator movie, which was interesting. And it definitely worked of how they pulled it off with the fact that it still was kind of that hunting environment. And he didn't really fully feel like he was 100% just a protagonist, not like the classic anti-hero type beat. More he still was an actual what we expect out of a Predator film. And I really enjoyed that. It didn't also go too hard with really the universe building of it. We just kind of got the slight teases of this is still in the same world as the Alien franchise, but did not do any more with that. It still allowed this just to stick just being this is a Predator film. This is a film for the fans that have watched the animated movie that came out and also watched Prey. And it kind of just felt like it was honestly a love letter to the fans. Really did. This coming from a perspective of a new fan. I didn't watch the OGs, so for my perspective, I am definitely fully into this franchise. I'm excited for more. So it's won me over from kind of what the horrors I've heard of the OGs, and I just never gave them a shot. So I gotta say, hey, I'm in it. He's won me over already now with two, and this is a third, and keeps winning.
Yeah,
Well, there's not horrors of the other ones. Most of them are still good, for
for
the
the most
most
part.
part. There's like
I
one real
feel
bad one in there. Other than that, they're
There's
solid.
like two.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, I really enjoyed this movie. Like you said, it kind of was what we were all hoping for. We just wanted a really good action movie, build a little bit more about kind of, confirming the whole Yautjas is their official names now. That we've actually the first time we've got that confirmed in any kind of Predator movie. But yeah, I mean, I think they did a great job of giving us a little bit more. We kind of learned a little bit more about their backgrounds, especially at the beginning. Kind of, that was just a dope scene to kick off Dex fighting with his brother, and then their dad and him just going out on a whole revenge mission, doing it for his brother as well as just trying to prove that he's not just the runt of the group, that he has a worth. So yeah, I thought it was just cool that we got some more information on kind of Yautja. Again, it started with kind of giving us a little part of their like codex, I guess, is that what it's called, their little whatever you want to call it, kind of the rules they follow. I for one was just really happy with it primarily not having the invisibility cloak and him working his way up to it, because I've always been a hardcore person of like, listen, predators are this insane hunting fighting group, and the cloak is just so OP that it was kind of nice that in this one he had to work his way up to earn it. So I respected that part of the lore, that this movie he didn't just get to hide behind the cloak, kind of like his dad tried to. But yeah, all in all, I mean, like you said, they completely hit on everything I wanted this movie to be. It definitely hit all the spots that I needed in terms of action. They had action throughout the entire movie, and I was very excited leaving it, hoping that this franchise continues going forward. I don't know how much Dan Trachtenberg is going to continue. Obviously, this is his third one. There was like a report or like a thing he talked about that he had three ideas, and like Killer of Killers was one, this one was two, and that there's still one more idea he hasn't talked about that who knows, is that kind of touching more on that whole alien predator dynamic, or was it what we kind of saw at the end of this of his, Dex's mom showing up and now he has his own little clan and family? maybe it's more aiming towards that instead of the Alien franchise, which I would for one be very excited about. I don't really care for that crossover right now or at all. Like, Predators are dope. Let's just keep going forward with the Yautja, culture and their whole history. I'd much rather be interested in that. But yeah, all in all, I mean, this movie, like you said, it hit on everything, and it was definitely a great job by Dan, and hope that he continues to work in this world more.
Yeah, he set out to make a blockbuster, and that's exactly what he did. And I think that's what we were all wanting, right? We were wanting to go to a movie to watch fucking Predator hunt, and that's exactly what we got. And we got, obviously, the synths from the Alien franchise, and I think that's good. Like Blake said, we don't necessarily need a crossover. Maybe later on down the line, if you want to do that, fine. But if you want to bring in like little pieces here and there, just like as a nod, and use them to the story's benefit rather than like hinder it, like this movie did, where it used a character, specifically a non-human character, as a synth in Thea, as like the secondary lead of this in like a very beautiful way. They played off of each other. Obviously, since Dak can't speak or does not speak English, she is like our way of hearing English in a movie while still kind of keeping it, making it make sense in terms of like the lore. And I thought that those two's chemistry was amazing. And you can tell like there's a person in that suit, and like it's not just a full CGI body, there's someone actually in there acting, performing everything out. Obviously with CGI enhancements to like the face, because you can't walk around with, what are those called? Mandibles, whatever.
Mandibles, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I thought they did an amazing job. If anything, I feel like I wouldn't mind this movie was a little bit longer. I mean, this is hour 49, hour 50 maybe. You could have pushed this to 2 hours and given us a few more action sequences here and there. I would have been completely happy. But still, all in all, I was incredibly impressed by Dan Trachtenberg. Obviously, this is set in a different planet, so like the visuals had to be on point. And in terms of visuals, this might be like up there for in terms of budget to what we got to see on screen. It's like they really worked on this like hard. You can tell that there was passion behind this project. Obviously, Dan, I mean, he's already done 2 Predator films, so he's very well versed in this franchise and this character and the Yautja culture. So he knows what's up. And like you said earlier, they're actually called Yautja, and that's only something that was mentioned in like the Dark Horse comics, like Predator comics. And to finally get that on screen is a cool thing. That shows that he himself is a fan of this franchise as well. So yeah, this is a fun ride.
Yeah, and I think like you were saying with it looking, I mean, it looked amazing, and obviously Dex himself looked good because of the fact that they actually used, as Predators in the past have done, they actually, have a creative team make a full suit for someone to wear, and then they just do touch-ups with CGI, which completely made this so much better that we actually got, for the first time, a Predator on screen as much as he was, and he didn't even have a mask for pretty much the entire movie. I mean, he kind of wears that bone bison at the end a little bit, but that's it. Like, we got full-on Predator face and everything for this movie, and it not only gave us viewers a chance to actually finally get to just see a Yautja for a while rather than just the kind of tiny bits they have been, but it also gave the actor a chance to do some real acting rather than just kind of casting. In the most part, they've kind of just done stuntmen or just people who are very large. Like in the original Predator was just a super tall guy just to make it more menacing. Like this time the actor actually got to use his facial expressions and stuff to act the best he can, and he learned there's a lot of cool interviews of him learning how to speak, Yautja, and man, that language was just sick to hear them every time they talked. I was like, I'm all in on this. I love the sound of it. But yeah, I think that just kind of, goes towards them actually using CGI the way it should be, just as enhancement. Obviously, doing the entire movie on, a fictional planet with a bunch of creatures and plants trying to kill you. Obviously, all those things they have to use CGI for as well. But, you know, trying to use as much practical, actual using artists to create it just made this movie look insane. Like you said, I mean, there cannot be enough credit given to this movie, how it did not look like, you know, a Marvel movie at any point. It looked good with all the action, with everything going on. This movie did not have a single scene that I can think of that I was like, ugh, that's a little rough, or it's very clear we're on just a sound stage in the middle of Atlanta. Like, no, this actually looks good. So shout out them for that. And yeah, what I mix her up with her sister, Dakota Fanning. Elle Fanning. This one's Elle Fanning. Yeah, shout out her. You know, the year of playing 2 characters in a movie continues with this, and I thought she did a great job. You could tell, you know, there was a difference between them. So, I mean, she was really her, and then, you know, the synths were played by a couple people, but she's really the only, like, full human, I guess you could say, that we saw the whole time, because Dex, that actor, was in the suit. But shout out her. I think she did a great job of kind of the difference of the 2 sisters, and she just did a really good job that, yeah, the year of playing 2 characters and doing really good continues.
And she played off of him really well. Him with like the very like straight man kind of approach, and she was, you know, definitely playing on his code. You know, obviously he's very into doing things a certain way, and she was obviously trying the whole time to kind of like break him out of his shell. And you know, that's a fun thing to kind of see them bounce back and forth, even with obviously him speaking in his native language and the subtitles. It still works like really well. And like you said, it sounds amazing. It sounds so cool. The sound design in this movie too. I mean, gosh, you can just go from any aspect of this film, whether it comes to sound design, the visuals, the acting, directing, the cinematography. Dude, some of the landscape shots in this film too. Oh my goodness, he did some of that in Prey too. He showed off like the landscape, and it kind of just like, it makes it feel more real. Like, obviously all this is not real, but it kind of grounds the viewer more into like,
it's not.
Nah,
I thought this was a documentary.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's at points it's shot like a documentary, but nah, it's not real, unfortunately, or fortunately.
Even the title card. When the title card came up, it was badass, and that was like what 20-30 minutes in or so. I mean, you had the like entire Quay and him and Quay fighting, and then he has this whole insane sequence landing on the planet and fighting. I mean, even when the title card came up, I was like, man, you made a title card seem badass. Like, you're cooking. Like, there's just nothing else to say with that. You're just cooking. Well, Josh, you typically are the one who has to hate on things. So, as this has been a whole lot of support for this movie, do you have any thoughts you want to throw in?
No, I mean, I don't really have any bad things to say about this. I can't really recall if we gave enough glazing to his sword and the audio design to his sword, especially that cut in half of the beast where he gets saved by the little guy. I'm blanking on, yeah.
Or the Luna bug, when he kills that too.
Yep. So the blade was cool. I mean, it was some nice crisp audio. I think that's probably the best audio I've ever heard in a blade like that since basically Star Wars, let's be honest. So yeah, it was fun. I don't really can think of too much bad. I think the only thing that you can think of bad is if you went into this movie maybe with the mindset that this wasn't just a pure action film and that's all you're going to get really from it, then maybe you can find something to nitpick, but really I think you got to nitpick this movie to find any bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and I feel like even then, like, they still did a good job of mixing. Like, it was action heavy, but they still had a plot and stuff going on in the background that they did good of. It wasn't just a meaningless movie, and the plot didn't, like, take away too much. Like, it was still an action movie at its core, but it was like, there's a reason he's doing what he's doing, and he acts the way he acts, and, you know, we have kind of Thea and Tessa having their whole, like, since kind of developing a little bit of emotion kind of thing and their sister type relationship that, I think he did a really good job of blending that together of actually having a plot, but not taking away from, at the end of the day, we want this to be a badass action movie too.
And have him basically have us root for the Predator as like the main protagonist. Because like in past, you're like, yeah, the Predator's cool, but at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you want the human to like to kill the Predator, and it's never happened before, where you have like him as the main protagonist and you actually care about him because like You know, his dad's a piece of shit, and he kills his brother, and while his brother was trying to protect him, and he's trying to like, you know, make him better, and he was, you know, by his side, and all that was seen as a weakness to his father, and yeah, that just sets him on a path where we're like, we as the audience immediately we're like, okay, yeah, we can ride behind Deck as the main protagonist now, and we want to see him succeed and fly back to that planet and just kill his dad. As fucked up as that sounds, but yeah, he definitely deserves it. What's another thing that I wanted to mention? Oh, man,
I got some negatives I can throw in there. Again, we have to nitpick. We all really like this movie. I will just say, I think it would have added a little more drama and everything when Deck first killed the Callisk. There we go. Found it. When he first killed the Callisk and decapitated it, I wish we kind of got a little bit more of a beat of like, he succeeded. I would have loved a classic Predator roar in that moment and just had a little, like, give us a beat or a second of like, oh, he did it. That was badass. It was kind of like he took its head off, he landed, and then it just quickly started like rehealing. I just wish that kind of just for the sake of drama and just kind of badassness, just take a beat there of letting us think like he actually did it in that moment a little bit more than they did. That's just kind of one thing that I was like, but again, that's just kind of a little nitpick, like side thing that I wish we would have got a little more of. So, all in all, still a great movie.
I just remembered. So I was looking at other people's like, you know, reviews or just, you know, things that pop up on TikTok. One of the things that actually people seem to maybe not like as much or just didn't anticipate in this movie, which I found weird because I'm like, I thought it was like a good part of the movie was the humor at certain points was like, it was too much for him sometimes. I'm almost like, I mean, I thought it was fine. Like it wasn't. Yeah, at first it caught me off guard, but then like once you kind of get into the flow of the movie, it kind of just feels natural to kind of what the movie is. Yeah. You have a buddy cop kind of thing going on with him and Thea, so it's like, you know, I don't know. That's what I saw, and I was surprised with how many people were like, you know, took points off of it just for that. I'm like, I don't know if it's worth to take points off.
Yeah, lame.
Yeah.
The only thing is like, could we maybe have cut the whole like baby Callus like copying him? We could have maybe cut that like 2 or 3 copycat things earlier. Am I sitting there like, oh, super annoyed with it? But it was just like in the moment, it was like, okay, this joke ran its course. It was funny, and then it kept going to the point where I was just like, okay, like I'm whatever. Not to the point where I was like, man, that was so stupid. Like it wasn't insanely over the top annoying. It was just like, we could have cut like the last part of him, like the Callus lighting the stick on fire when he took out his sword. Like I didn't need that. And then the stretch and then it doing the stretch. Like I didn't need that. Like we could have just done him moving the dirt, it moving the dirt, him grabbing a rock, it grabbing a rock, cut from there. Like I would have been fine, but not enough that I'm like thinking about that constantly. Like, damn, this movie was great, but that was kind of dumb.
Right.
Like,
right. Yeah.
It was whatever.
It's like some very minuscule thing, yeah. But yeah, I was just surprised that was a big thing for a lot of people. I'm like, I don't see how that was, but you know, whatever. That was just nitpick to nitpick, I guess.
Yeah. Well, then I think that's pretty much. Unless somebody has anything else they need to get in here, I feel like we can just get to our ratings. I can start us off. I enjoyed this movie a lot. It definitely hit every point I wanted. Solid 9 out of 10 for me. I feel like really the only reason it has a point down is, honestly, selfishly, like I wish it was a little bit longer. Other than that, I mean, there's really not too much to kind of complain about with this movie, but it's a solid 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I can go next, and I'm basically right there with you almost. I gave it an 8.9 out of 10. I thought it was everything I wanted, even a little bit more. And I also think the humor comment is a bit odd since the last 2 movies, by the way, had humor 100% in them. But anyways, yeah, 8.9.
Well, I guess that'll be the highest rating. You know, I did rewatch this again, and I loved it even more the second time. So for me, this is a 9.2. You know, this is one of the highest rated movies for me. I mean, is this like going to be like the best movie of the year? Probably not, but I mean, in terms of rewatchability, yeah, this is one of those for me for sure.
Absolutely, yeah, it absolutely has great rewatchability. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this review. As always, if you saw Predator Badlands, let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts of it are. As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.